So hello everyone, welcome you all to this new video. So till now we have covered with the module three, that is the chapter one, that is CMOS process technology, that is done. So now in the second chapter we have already started with the introduction, and the resistance estimation part is done, where we have seen the standard value of resistance for sheet resistance, and also the uh, variable resistance with respect to the change in temperature and mobility. So in the sheet resistance, the formula which you have seen, that is R is equal to Rs into L by W, where the Rs is the sheet resistance, and L and W are the resistance, so width and length of that sheet resistance. Okay, so everything we have discussed in that video. So those who have not watched it, please go and watch it. So in this video, we are going to discuss with the capacitance estimation. Okay, so now let us see this capacitance estimation. So the dynamic response of MOS systems, that is metal oxide semiconductor, particularly the switching speed, is significantly influenced by the parasitic capacitances associated with MOS devices and interconnections. So these capacitance arises from metal, polysilicon, and diffusion wires, often referred to as runners. Okay. So what are these runners? So these runners are basically the capacitances. So in general, you know that for any circuit to be working properly, the capacitances play a vital role because it blocks the DC and allows only the AC signal to pass through it. Okay, so that's why when the AC signal passes, so those signals are generally named combined as combined under any transistor or any conductor resistances. For example, if you mention here the combination of with the transistor and conductor resistances, so when the transistor and conductor resistances combines, we have in the CMOS process technology the polysilicon and diffusion wires combined, right? So they get interconnected, so that when they are getting interconnected, these capacitances play a vital role as runners in order to in order for the proper flow of signal. Okay, so proper flow of output is required, so those polysilicon and diffusion wires are referred as runners. So the total load capacitance of the output of an NMOS gate consists of the following components. Okay, so these are the following components under the load capacitance. That is, first is gate capacitance. Okay, so due to the other inputs connected to the output of the gate, so this is the term called as gate capacitance. Then we have diffusion capacitance. So this arises from the drain regions connected to the output. So next is routing capacitance. Okay, so this results from the connection between the output and the other inputs. Okay, so when the connections are taking place from output and other inputs of the particular circuit, so that so between them we are supposed to attach these routing capacitance. Okay, so understanding the sources and variations of these parasitic loads is crucial in MOS circuit design, where system performance is largely dictated by switching speed. Okay, so now let us see the MOS capacitor characteristics. So the capacitance voltage characteristics of a MOS structure depend on the state of the semiconductor surface. As the gate voltage VG varies, the surface can be one of the following three states. Okay, so in a you see this figure here, MOS capacitor structure. Here, this MOS capacitor structure consists of some of the capacitors. Okay, then we have one channel, depletion layer, and the substrate we are using here is P substrate. Okay, and we have one gate terminal and one VSS here. So here in these three states of depletion layer and channel, we are having the different surfaces with one three states. Okay, so those three states are mentioned here as accumulation, depletion, and inversion. Okay, so this figure below illustrates the MOS structure. So here we have one MOS structure, and this layer is called as the polysilicon layer. Okay, and this is the thin oxide layer, and this is the depletion layer. Okay, and this is the channel. Okay, so it would be N channel or P channel, but here in this case it is N channel because we are using P substrate. Okay, so this is the TOX, that is a thin oxide. Then we have capacitance, PSS, and these are the terminals: gate, source, and drain terminals. Okay, so this is the channel here. First is the accumulation mode. So in this accumulation mode, what we have is in a P substrate MOS capacitor, an accumulation layer forms when the gate voltage, that is VG, is less than zero for an N substrate. Okay, for an N substrate, it occurs when VG is greater than zero. So in P substrate, the MOS capacitor in accumulation forms only when the Vg is negative. Okay, it should be less than zero always. Okay, but for an N substrate, since we are using the p-type p-type analysis, since we are looking, so that's why the N substrate occurs when the voltage is greater than zero. So the negative charge on the gate attracts the holes to the silicon surface, forming a high concentration of charge carriers. So under these conditions, the MOS structure behaves like a parallel plate capacitor, where the gate conductor forms one plate, the accumulated hole layer in P substrate form the second plate. Okay, so these are the two plates formed when under these conditions when the gate voltage is negative. That is, gate conductor is one plate and accumulated hole layer, which is since why is this hole layer, because here you see that negative charge carriers of the gate attracts the hole to the silicon surface. Okay, so that's why when the holes are getting attracted, so the layer formed is the accumulated hole layer, okay, in the P substrate. So since the accumulation layer is directly connected to the substrate, the gate capacitance can be approximately given as here you see here CO, that is the gate capacitance CO, that is equal to epsilon of SiO2, that is the permittivity of the silicon dioxide, into epsilon naught divided by TOX into A, where A is the area of gate, then E of SiO2 is the dielectric constant or the relative permittivity of the silicon dioxide, taken as 3.9 in general. Okay, so it has a fixed value. So this was about accumulation mode. So then we have one more kind of mode, that is depletion mode. Okay. So under depletion mode, when a small positive voltage is applied to an N device gate with respect to the P substrate, a depletion layer is formed. Okay. So this is the formation of how the depletion layer takes place. The positive gate voltage repels the holes, leaving behind a negatively charged region depleted of carriers. A similar effect occurs in a N substrate device for small negative gate voltage. The charge density per unit area in the depletion region depends on the three following terms, that is doping concentration, electronic charge, that or electric charge, and depletion layer depth. Okay, so these are the three major parameters in which the charge density per unit area in the depletion region depends. Okay, so as the gate to substrate voltage increases, the depletion depth D also increases, causing a decrease in capacitance. So the depletion capacitance in general, now it is given by this term, that is epsilon naught into epsilon Si, that is the dielectric constant under silicon, divided by D. Okay, where D is the depletion depth into the area. Okay, depletion depth D, then epsilon Si is the dielectric constant of the silicon, which is generally taken as 12. Okay, so since the depletion capacitance is in series, okay, why it is in series? Because you see here, in a small positive voltage applied to N device, the gate with respect to the P substrate, the depletion layer is formed. So why it is in series? Because since the depletion layer is formed due to the N device gate with respect to P substrate, so that's why the N substrate device would be getting activated. So that's why when the depletion capacitance would be in series with respect to the gate oxide capacitance provided. Okay, so we should be keeping this in series. Why? Because we have in the channel, you see here this diagram, the channel and depletion layer are just below each other, for just combined one above the other. So that's why these two capacitances are in series here. You see here, so these two depletion capacitance as well as the oxide capacitances are kept in series, okay, forming a channel. So with the gate oxide capacitance, so the total capacitance in depletion is given by CGB is equal to CO into C depletion, that is oxide capacitance into depletion capacitance divided by CO plus C depletion. Okay, so this equation shows that D increases, the total gate to substrate capacitance decreases. Okay, so they are inversely proportional. So this was completely under the depletion mode. So the third important is inversion mode. Okay, in the inversion mode, as the gate voltage increases, further minority carriers, electrons for a P substrate, accumulate to the surface, forming the inversion layer. So this inversion layer is just opposite to that of the depletion layer. Okay, where this would be keeping this would be passing only the low frequency components, and the high frequency components with respect to the capacitances won't be passed. Okay, it would be blocking them. So this inversion layer effectively turns the surface into the n-type channel. Okay, so it works for different layers, but with respect to the depletion layer, it is getting inverted. Okay, since now it is the p-type channel is formed, the n-type channel also would be getting formed. So this results in a high conductivity layer under the gate. So at low frequencies, less than 100 hertz, the capacitance returns to C out. Then we have at higher frequencies, the limited supply of minority carriers prevents the charge from following rapid gate voltage variations. Consequently, the dynamic capacitance remains at the depletion value. Here it is given by CGB equal to C out. So that's why CO into C dip divided by CO plus C into depletion region at dynamic range. Okay. So this figure would be very essential to know these three regions very carefully. That is accumulation, depletion, and inversion. So this figure below illustrates the variation of the dynamic gate capacitance as function of gate voltage. You see here the figure illustrates, you see here, with respect to the change in the CGB and C naught, the first accumulation region, okay, it remains, it passes all the high frequency components. So that is, so here in this case it is 1.0. So this is the complete accumulation region. So the depletion region, since they are in series, so it would be getting cut off. So that's why we have a slight change. And after that, the inversion is just opposite to that of the accumulation. It comes down and it just follows the pattern of the depletion region, and the output would be getting inverted. Okay, so this VT, where we see the change in during the change in the depletion and inversion layer, the threshold voltage is formed, where this is the VGS voltage and this is the capacitance estimation. Okay, so with this graph, we conclude with this MOS capacitor characteristics. So hope you understood this very carefully. So these are some of the MOS device capacitances. So these things and all we are going to see in the next video. Okay. So here we have different capacitances at different regions, that is cutoff, linear, and saturation. So let us see that in the next video. So that's all for this video, guys. So hope you hope you have watched this video till the end without skipping any part and try to understand these concepts. So these notes I'm going to provide it in the description. So please go and access it. So that's all for this video, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.